Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, The Importance of Temperance. I'm Katie, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're doing super good. I am fantastic. As you can see, I'm in the backyard, under the barley hut, by the pool, and it's a fantastic sunny day here in Queensland. Yesterday was miserable, but today is gorgeous. It's my day off, and so I am luxuriating in this beautiful weather. Now it is winter here, but it gets to a low of 6, 7, 8, 10 degrees overnight, and that's Celsius I'm talking. But then we have these beautiful 21, 22, 23, sometimes 24-degree days, and today is just perfection. Yesterday I wasn't feeling well. I had to stay home from work and I was feeling a bit shite. I had this really weird headache happening, and I've been having these weird headaches of late, so I don't know if it's kind of like a spiritual headache or not, but I digress. So today I am popping on because I'm super excited to do this tag again. I came across it last year, and yes, it is that time of year. Once again, it is the mid-year tarot tag. Now I saw it last year on Chanel Day's channel, and I believe she started it, or at least she made it into a tarot tag from a book tag, I guess it was, but don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I was super excited last year. I did it last year. And then a couple of nights ago, I was browsing on TarotTube, and I saw this lovely lady called Satu Bloom, and I think her channel is 9 Coins from Satu. I think that's the name of her YouTube channel. Anyway, she was doing the 2024 tag, and I got, oh yay, hooray! So I've only seen her video. I don't know if Chanel's done hers, so I'm gonna go check that out. And I will link, those two videos down the bottom if you want to follow along. Now there are 12 prompts. Sorry about the noise, there's construction and stuff going on and the neighbors making noise, and so if you hear any noises, I apologize. But you will also hear the birdies, and you also hear the wind in the plants. See, talking about wind. I will link their names below and the videos below and the prompts as well. There are 12. So without further ado, grab yourself a cuppa or a beverage of your choice and let's get to it. So there are 12 prompts, and the first of which is, what deck have you used the most so far this year or in 2024? Well, obviously I always use a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. One of the ones that I have been kind of using the most, which is funny because I got it last year and I kind of never used it, is this one here. And it's sort of like a grayish looking one. These are the backs, and for some reason I've just taken a liking to it, and I've been using this one. Yeah, so it's a go-to for me. Even if I'm using other decks at the time, I always use an RWS deck with it. So this is Pamela Coleman Smith deck, and the other one that I'm using is the Voyager Tarot. Now again, this is new to my collection. This is a beautiful bag that I got made for it, and the Lovers card being one of my favorite cards of the deck. Now this one I got at the start of the year, and I've been using it. These are the backs. I have been using it quite often. Sorry about the glare. It's one of those decks that I didn't know existed, so forgive me if I am late to the party, that I just accidentally came across this deck. I didn't know anything about it. So yeah, I've been using this on and off. I use it mostly for my weekly card pulls, and I use it also as a tool, as an oracle card sometimes. You know what I mean? I just love the craziness in these cards. There's a lot going on, and they're hard kind of to interpret, but at the same time they're really good just for cards to open up your mind and get those intuitive hits. Now they are ugly as sin with these green borders, to be honest, and they're quite big cards, but for some reason I was called to purchase these. So I have been enjoying these on and off since the start of the year when I got them. I pull them as a clarifier, or alternatively, I will use them as my weekly pulls. I have tried to do something this year because I've got so many decks and I kind of never get to them all. I want to do every month, I want to use one deck, and so I'm trying to do that now so I can get some use out of these decks. Alright, so the next prompt is a new deck that has come into your collection. So I've had a few decks come into my collection this year. One that I'm super stoked about is this one here, which is out of print. It is the Tarot of the Third Millennium. It is a deck which is super weird. And I got this off eBay for quite a good price, to be honest. It was going for crazy prices. Now this deck is one of those decks that is quite misunderstood. It's got different kind of artwork throughout it. It's the artwork by Yasen Guzlev. He's done the drawings, so the majors are all this kind of line work. Then you've got the court cards that are sort of colorful like this, and then you've got the minors, which are these kind of like line work designs with the insert of Tarocchi di Bologna, I think it is, which is kind of like similar to a Tarot de Marseille. And the way that you make sense of these cards is either by focusing in on the Tarot de Marseille card, so this would be the Four Swords, or alternatively, you put them together as a tableau. So every suit works like a puzzle, so you would get all the cups and put all the minors together and they form a tableau. It's a scene, and it's mostly kind of scenes from the medieval times, you know, like feast days and like a hanging or a scene of battle for the sword. For every suit, there is a theme going on, and it would be a medieval theme because it's kind of based on the old interpretation of the cards where each suit represented, you know, like a social status back in the day, you know what I mean? So I did come across the majors first. So I do have these in the big format, and I really love the artwork so much. But I was intrigued by the deck. I thought it was really interesting. And on these, you kind of have these website addresses, these URLs, but they're not real. It says the Knight of Chalices on here, and then it says MIL, so for Millennium. So I guess this deck wasn't really kind of understood, didn't get a lot of love. There's also kind of all these circuitry boards on there. They look like computer chips, or you know, you use for electricity, and barcodes on there. So yeah, I know. Weird and wonderful. The cards feel a bit like they've got a plastic coating over them. These are the backs, and I really am happy that I have this in my collection. I've got this beautiful sparkly likely pouch for it because they didn't come with a box. They came wrapped in the plastic or the cellophane, and they didn't have in a booklet or anything, so I had to buy a little pouch to contain it. Alright, so that's a new deck that's come into my collection. Most anticipated deck that was released this year. Now, I don't know if it was released this year. I think it might have been released at the end of last year. I saw it, I think it was across December, January, on YouTube. People who had just received their decks were showing videos of it. Now, this is a Kickstarter deck. It's called Marea Tarot by Marsha Kulinovic. And I saw this deck and I had to have it, and I went on Kickstarter, but obviously it was done and dusted. Comes in this magnetic box. I wanted this deck because I just had to have this deck. I contacted Marsha and she said that there were going to be 500 more decks printed, and to kind of stay tuned, and as soon as the new 500 decks were printed she would contact me, and she did. Now this is a Thoth deck. It is a beautiful deck. Now this is Marsha's own artwork, and I don't know if she's used mixed media for it, but it's definitely her artwork, faithful to the original Thoth deck, but she's inputted, you know, her own take on it. These beautiful vibrant colors. I don't feel this is as stark, obviously, as the artwork from the original one, because that's more like an Art Deco art style. She has also taken away the keywords from the bottom of the miners. She's made this deck inclusive. For instance, the Empress, I don't know if you can see, but this lady is sitting on a wheelchair here. Yeah, so this was my most anticipated deck for this year, and I was really lucky to get it. I will speak about this deck a little bit more later on, because this is one of the decks that will answer another couple of prompts as well. So, biggest disappointment. Now, I won't say it's my biggest disappointment in the sense like, oh my god, I'm hating on it or anything, but I thought that I would love this deck more. And this is the Mystic Masters by Danny Mystic. This is her own deck that she's created. I got this off Make Playing Cards, and I had seen it originally on her channel, and I kind of fell in love with it. When I first got it, I worked with it just very briefly, and I love it, but not as much as I thought I'd love it. And I also find it to be very dark, in the sense like, I like the artwork, but it's very dark, and it doesn't kind of pop. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, for instance, on camera, it looks brighter than it actually does in real life. It looks very kind of dim and foggy, I guess. I don't know. I don't find myself reaching for it as much as I thought I would. I, was super excited about it. I saw the walkthrough on the channel. I got the deck, but it's not like I'm disappointed that I got it in my collection. I'm actually happy that it's in my collection, but I just don't find myself reaching for it as much as I thought. Everything has its time and place, so I'm not going to give up on this deck. But yeah, being an indie deck, and for the amount of money I paid for it and the initial level of excitement I had for this deck, it's kind of hasn't fulfilled my expectations, so to speak. So that is that prompt. Prompt number 5, biggest surprise. Okay, so my biggest surprise so far is this deck here. Now, I have had this deck in my collection for a couple of years, I guess. I just bought it off Amazon. So this one here I bought because of the artwork, and I thought it was beautiful. But then when I got it, it was kind of very pippish, and I wasn't really into the pips that much. But as I have explained, I am on a mission to use all of my decks. Rotating it. So last month, so the month of June. I mean, we're still in June, but kind of like I'm going by the astrological months here. So for Gemini season, okay, this is the deck I chose to use, and I actually really got some great readings out of it. I actually really love it. The colors are beautiful. The artwork is beautiful. Even if it's pippish, you still got what you need. They're illustrated to some extent. You can see the water under here. You can see the eye. I feel that this deck is a mixture of the Marseille and also the Thoth. So very, very pleasantly surprised with this deck. I enjoyed so much working with it for the Gemini season. Yeah, so I'm happy that I am actually making myself use decks, because I buy decks and then I don't use them, or I might use them the first few days. Again, every deck has its season, isn't it? Like, when you're ready to work with it, you work with it. Look at that beautiful star there. So that is my biggest surprise for 2024. Prompt 6, deck crush. Okay, so my deck crush is the Maria Tarot once again. This is one of those decks that I am absolutely in love with. Like with the Thoth deck, I bought it because I wanted to explore a new system, and I really love Thoth deck. I love the artwork. I like Art Deco, but kind of like when I first bought it, it was hard to understand. I bought the Aleister Crowley Thoth book to go with it, and that was heavy going, and it's a very masculine energy, I feel, and sometimes it can be a little bit negative as a deck. But then I bought this new book, companion guidebook, to go with it, which is like a lot more positive interpretation to the cards. But when I saw this deck, I just fell in love with the artwork. I think it's soft. I think it's beautiful. I think it brings an actual feminine element to the Thoth deck. It is a reinvention, I say, of the Thoth deck. She's made it her own. I'm talking about Marsha, the creator, being faithful to the original, but she's just added so much. I gush. I'm gushing. I'll gush about this deck. I love it. I haven't got enough good things to say about it. I I can go on and on and on. But yeah, this is my deck crush for 2024 so far. Put that back there. Number 7, Fave Tarot card. Well, I have discovered this year that I am partial to the Eight of Cups. And I'm just going to show you a few favorites. So the Eight of Cups is one of those cards that I love. I don't know why, I can't explain, but in all the decks, I love the Eight of Cups. So that one there is from the Dooming Way Tarot, and out of all the Eight of Cups, this is just, I love it. Then this is the Eight of Cups from Tarot de Carlotides or Carlotides. This is the 8 from the Nicoletta Ceccoli deck. This is the Eight of Cups from Fountain Tarot. This is the Eight of Cups from the Marea Tarot or the Thoth deck, and it's just very dark and moody. But yeah, I don't know. I have a thing for the Eight of Cups, and I'm crushing on the Eight of Cups. This is obviously from the Rider-Waite-Smith Eight of Cups, and this is from Tarot de Marseille. So that's my favorite tarot card at the moment in different versions. Myth number 8, what deck makes you happy? And I think this is a cute little deck. Tarot deck Carlotides. I call it Carlotides because the name of the creator is Carlotta, but you guys call it Tarot de Carlotides, and it's a Fournier deck, and I actually have been loving, loving. It makes me happy. I love the backs, and I like the artwork. It's growing on me. It's a bit weird and wonderful. It reminds me of Spain or Barcelona. Reminds me of Park Güell, the underneath of the terrace up the top in Barcelona. I don't know, these characters are kind of interesting and fun, and there's a bit of everything in there. This kind of reminds me of Klimt's artwork. We've got a bit of Russian influence there. I love this Wheel of Fortune. Kind of reminds me of Italy and aperitivo time. Obviously, they do tapas in Spain, but we still have garlic and the hot chilies hanging from the roof. Yeah, so this deck is kind of cutesy, but at the same time, it is fun, and I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but it does make me happy. And every time I kind of pull it out and look through it, I always sort of am pleasantly surprised by how much I like it every time. Now, this is also one of those decks that I haven't actually worked with, so I've got it. I've used it to show in a lot of my videos, especially the top tarot trumps. I've enjoyed the look of it, but I haven't actually worked properly with it. Maybe I just pulled a card here and there, and when I first got it, I might have used it at the start there for a couple of days, but I haven't actually properly worked with it. So I'm looking forward to using this deck. It gives me kind of like not Virgo season vibes. This month we're in Cancer season. I've already got my deck that I'm working with. It might be a fire, maybe a Leo, or maybe a Libra. Maybe, no, this is a Libra deck. I might use it for Libra season. Alright, so that was prompt 8 for a deck that makes me happy. Now, number 9, most beautiful deck this year. Well, hello, has to go without saying. It's going to be my Marea Tarot. I think it's beautiful. I think the artwork is absolutely stunning. It blows my mind. I love the way that she's interpreted the cards. I love the way she's given it a little bit more of magic. Yeah, I don't know. To me, this deck is just fantastic. I mean, just look at the colors in that Emperor. Look at the Magus. just the primary colour she's used. I mean, the Ace of Discs, it's, oh, I just can't. I can't even. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's the most beautiful deck that I have come across. From my perspective, anyway. Oh, look at the High Priestess. That High Priestess is like everything. Alright, so the next prompt is, what deck do you want to buy at the end of the year or are still waiting on? Well, I'm not waiting on any decks. Right, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. My computer turned off. I've got a brand new computer and just went automatically into locking the screen after 20 minutes of being inactive. Anyway, just before we were rudely interrupted, I was talking about prompt number 10. So what deck are you wanting to buy by the end of the year, or if you're waiting on any decks? And I was saying that I'm sort of trying to be on a non-buy journey at the moment, just because I've got so many decks that I already don't work with, and I'm forcing myself every month to I'm making myself work with them every month. There are a few decks that I want to buy. I don't know, like there was one and then there's another one, and then I see some beautiful decks on somebody else's channel, but I can't get my hands on those because they're overseas and you can't get them. But to be honest, I'm actually really happy with the decks I have, and I'm going to play it by ear. And then when I feel called to buying a deck, I'm going to buy it. So I'm not putting myself under any pressure at the moment. So that's my answer to number 10. And last is this prompt here. Favorite video that I made. I don't really know what is my favorite video that I made. To be honest, I don't really kind of do a lot of content on this channel. I have another channel where I do videos on my fountain pen journey, so I might have to go through my videos and I will link it below for you to go and view. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. I hope you enjoyed my mid-year tarot review. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any faves and what your thoughts are. If you want to participate, and tag me if you want to tag me in your participation. And until my next one, have a great one. Ciao, Wendy. Hey guys, I'm jumping on really quickly at the end of this video because I did forget to mention prompt number 11. I'm just looking at my notes here. Which deck hasn't been used yet but you want to work with in 2024? So I did talk about a few decks that have been in my collection and I haven't actually really worked with them in depth. One is the Tarot de Colorides, which is one of those decks that I've had but I haven't actually worked with, so I'm planning to work with this one. Another one was the Crystal Tarot. Again, I've had that for a year or so and never worked with it. And also the RWS one, the grey one, the Pamela Coleman Smith deck, that was also a deck that I'd never touched. So to be perfectly frank, there are 3 decks that I hadn't used and I did work with them in 2024. And this is one that I'm going to be planning on working with, and I feel this is a Libra deck, so I'm going to be using it for Libra season. Okay guys, bye.